culture generation and let you know that this is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome, online viewers. If you're on Facebook, push like, comment, and share. If you're on YouTube, push like, comment, and subscribe. And on our website at a newdayfellowship.org. So thank you for joining us this evening. We know that this is going to be an exciting, intriguing time. We have one of the Go Crew here on this session. And I want to introduce you to Dr. Tiger.
Yes, that's right. Well, thanks for inviting me to be on this. I'm excited to visit.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we met at a chamber.
That was my first chamber
yes.
event. I moved here in July. I went to the chamber when they were promoting the new software, the marketing research
Yes,
software, which was really cool. And you sat across from me and made me feel at home pretty quick. Soon after that, I had the invite to come here and visit with you.
And thank you for coming this direction. I already appreciate you all, for just, coming, and you gave me a warm conversation out of that, a few texts, and everything was just fine. So tell us just a little bit about you, then we'll get into what it is. Because I know y'all don't want to hear about me, you want to hear about Dr. Tiger.
Well, I'll do the academic part. I moved here in July. I'm the dean of the McLean College of Business, the University of Mary Hardin Baylor. Prior to that, I was in West Texas at Angelo State. I was there 7 years. Got used to the dryness. We moved here over the summer, so I'm still getting used to the humidity. But I love the rain. I like being where it's raining. My wife and I both like that. I grew up in Oklahoma. I'm a first-generation college student, and had no desire to be at a university or teach. When I finished up school, I worked for 3M. I was a winemaker for a little bit. Worked for Ernest and Julio Gallo Winery. Did some supply chain work, and then had a chance to teach. Fell in love with it, and I've been teaching. I taught at Texas A&M Kingsville, Union University, which is like Mary Hardin Baylor in Tennessee, and was at Angelo State. Had a chance to serve as dean there, and then had a chance to come to Mary Hardin Baylor and be the dean of the McLean College of Business. And excited.
What do you like about the Central Texas area so far?
I'm gonna be real selfish.
Yes,
Start out. My daughter graduated from Mary Hardin Baylor and still lives in the area. And she's 5 minutes away, and she can pop in when she wants. And so we enjoy the people. Again, we enjoy living in Texas. We like access to places where we want to go in terms of getting up and down I-35. We're getting used to Temple. I went to Trino's Pizza for lunch today. Wow, that's
yes,
a good place. And Mary Hardin Baylor, like being here and being around a Christ-centered university, strong leadership. We want to be part of that.
Yes, sir. Now you're from Oklahoma, correct?
Right.
What was the atmosphere in Oklahoma growing up that you could recall?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I grew up. Pastor, there are a handful of things I don't remember learning how to do. I remember when I learned how to ride a bike. Right? I never learned how to throw a ball because my dad played ball with me from a baby. So I always been able to throw a baseball. I don't remember not ever being in church. I grew up every day, every Sunday I was in church. So I had a great family life, and had a younger brother. We got in trouble. We were knuckleheads sometimes, but we had access to the neighborhood. We were free to roam. It was one of those times we were able to do that. I wouldn't say that we had a lot of money, but I never thought one way or the other about that. It was a great family life. Thoroughly enjoyed. I'm a Sooner, so I don't know how long that's going to last around here, but yeah, I went to the University of Oklahoma, so I still consider myself a Sooner.
Wow. Now, growing up, and you say you and your brother in the school you went to, was there any stillment as in teachers guiding you, or you just kind of had to guide yourself what you wanted to do in life?
Oh no, I think you're always your experiences with your teachers. I remember my third grade teacher, Miss Fraser, and I asked her how gravity worked. And I thought that was cool. All of a sudden, you realize that you're in place, right? But I wanted to know, how does gravity work, and how come the moon doesn't just fly away from the Earth? And I don't even know if it's part of our conversation, but she found a piece of string and an eraser and wrapped the string around the eraser and started spinning and said, "My hand is the Earth. That string is gravity. That it's not flying, and then the moon is the eraser." And just explain how Newtonian physics worked. I mean, just like that to this third grader. So I had great teachers. Another thing I would say, I don't think I ever did think that I would wind up going to college. I think that was part. Now, what I was going to do, I didn't have my mom and dad didn't graduate from college, but they pretty well said, "You're going to college." And my decisions. Remember, I did pretty good in a mechanical drawing class at learning how to draft, and I had a chance to join a machine shop as a draftsman. That was short lived. This is, no, you're not doing that. You're going to college.
Okay.
But had great teachers. I played a lot of sports. I was a baseball player, and we had a pretty good baseball team. Yeah, I think I was influenced by a lot of good people.
Now, you might have to scratch your head on this and probably say, But, okay, do you recall any of the people in the area or anyone that you recall that kind of helped you get to where you were, or what they said or anything to, get you to thinking a little bit and say, wow, it's more to life than what I'm thinking. And I could do more than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, a couple things is I know when I went to an independent school that was kindergarten through 8th grade, and then we had to go to the big high school, which is 5A school. It wasn't a super big school, but the little independent school I was at, I was stuck with it. And I remember I was okay at sketching and drawing and things like that, and took a cool art class in 8th grade, and had a chance to, when I went to high school, and joined an art class, and my 8th grade teacher said, "You need to be in the advanced art class. You don't realize the talent you've got." And again, it was more just mechanical drawing, those type of things, perspectives. But he kind of set the expectation that you can compete at this high school. My counselor, again, I don't remember ever school being hard, but I never thought of myself as someone that was like strong in something. But took the PSAT test, and just like that, my counselor says, "Yeah, you need to be an engineer." And I said, "I don't know what an engineer is, but that's what I'll do." So I've had people that have looked at me and had me do things, and recommended expectations. I remember in grad school, I just started grad school. It was way too tough for me. I had no desire. I was driving a beat up 77 Nova and said, "All right, I'm done with this. I'm going to go work somewhere." And my department chair basically didn't let me do it. Says, "No, you need to stay in, go ahead and get a master's degree, get your doctorate." There's a lot of benefits when you do that. So I've had a lot of people that have injected in me and changed what I've thought.
Okay. Now you said Nova. What kind of engine did you have inside there?
Because
back then you could work on your own engine back then.
No, so good question. It was the small block.
Okay.
I think it was a 305, but I put in a 350.
Modified it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was no relationship between the steering wheel and where I went. I could steer like that and go straight ahead, right? And then if you just thought about putting on the brakes, they were going to lock up. I drove it when I went to the University of Houston for my PhD program. And Nova, Houston, in the summertime, and no air conditioning. You learned you drove with the windows down.
Yes, sir. There's nothing wrong with that. I recall a lot of cars I had in the past, and I remember my brother-in-law car. It was a Pinto. It didn't have a reverse in it. So I would love to be on the passenger side, and of course, going back, we had to pick our feet and move backwards. I love that car. Of course, it wasn't mine, but it was something that really It was blue. I still recall. And every time we go to a store, he wouldn't put. Sometimes he would pull up to the front or he'd pull up to the back because we know that we had to stick our feet in it, just like the Flintstones. It was.
That's
So
awesome.
I thought about it. So as you are going through life, young person going to college, now you have succeeded in one phase, and that's graduating from college, then going back again. What made you push to get your doctorate?
Um, I had a great, so I'm a member of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and we had at University of Oklahoma, we had the minority engineering program, and it was just a place to build community, to get tutoring help. The director of that was a gentleman named Wayne Steen, who went to school at Kansas. He's an Indian guy. Knew Billy Mills. Who ran, in the Olympics, and he set bars pretty high on what he wanted his students to do.
Hmm.
And going to grad school, if he thought that you were going to do it, he was going to push you hard for that. And then again, I wouldn't say that the opportunities from a financial standpoint were a lot, but there were more in grad school than there were undergrad.
Wow.
If you were a Native American and wanted to go to grad school, if you
Hmm.
look in 1995 and look at the number of PhDs by
Hmm.
number of PhDs by Native Americans in 1995, there's one.
Hmm.
'Cause that's me. That was
Wow.
it. And he pushed me. He pushed me hard. So you need to get a PhD, and he helped me find a school to go to, and so he was very influential on that. So that was that next step, and it's intimidating.
Hmm.
You're around people so smart, right? And but I think the adage of just working hard and outworking someone, I think that helped me. I use Friday nights were awesome for me. That's when I did all my homework.
Hmm.
Everyone else doing something else. I had a place to myself. I could get all of my homework finished in college, and then there were plenty of questions I didn't know the answer, but I could know that I could go early next week and go get help. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to get it all done as so I like the idea that I could outwork you. I could do better.
Yeah. And you told me intimidation. I recall when I was in seminary school, and I was just a deacon at a church, and everyone that I had class with, there was already pastors and bishops and elders, and I felt so small. I felt like and they was like talking and talking, and I was about to drop out. I really was, and I went and talked to the dean, and his name was Dr. Dennis Brooks, and he said, Brother Beeman, he said, you know more than what these guys do in here. Just because they have a church already does not mean that they have excelled, and that encouraged me to keep pushing to where I
Yes.
was. I mean, so yeah, I understand about the intimidation. Sometimes people talk big, and yet though when it's time for action, it's very small or minimal. So
Right.
that's good.
I think of being in a place where you can fail and you got some support to help you understand that failure doesn't mean that you have to quit. It doesn't mean you're not good.
Hmm.
It means that there's an obstacle for you to overcome. And again, I work with a lot of first generation students right now, and that's the challenge. They're going to have a hard time in college. They're going to have a hard time on that first test. But nowhere does that mean they're not good. So
Yes.
they need to understand that everyone fails. They just need to know that, hey, what did you not do? What can you do better? And encourage and design programs and get involved with them and help them know that, yeah, you didn't do well on this one,
Yeah.
but you can fix that.
Yeah.
Let's look at what you did and how you can fix that. And I love that. I love that part of the job.
Yeah, I recall my first test. Now, don't y'all tell everybody, but my first test examination in college, it was horrible. And back then, you went by your social security number, and they posted it in there, and it was a psychiatry test, and so Sigmund Freud and Augusti Caminiti, what I didn't know that you're supposed to answer the way that they would answer, not what you did would answer. And I said, oh, this common sense. I don't have to study. It was so embarrassing. And of course, they asked me how did I do. My friends, I didn't tell the truth. I said, oh, I did good, but not like, oh, it was horrible. That got me studying right after there.
Yeah. That's and that's really all we need to be able to do that. And again, there's some people that need to be taught how to do that.
Yes. If you want to give a good shout out to your lovely wife, and then after that, tell us how y'all met.
Oh, okay. Well, my wife is Sue, so hello, Sue.
It looks like
that's right. Yeah, that's right. She's awesome.
Well, she got to be awesome. She married you.
Yeah, so my contribution to the marriage is the last name. She likes tiger and fried okra. So she's from the Midwest. She's not from the South. So the first time that she got to eat fried okra was after she had married me. So there you go. Those were the two things that I contributed. No, she's very industrious. She's a tailor. She works with her hands well. She runs an Etsy shop. She's done that for a long time. She ran a tailor shop in the Twin Cities, is where we met, where you can make a living being a tailor, and she's good at it. And everywhere we've lived, I've been part of her supply chain on taking clothes back and forth to someone, and I just tell her, make sure you put it in a bag, because if I'm carrying a pink dress across campus, I don't want anyone to know, and just put it in a bag. And so that's been my role in that. We met in Twin Cities on a blind date. Yeah. We weren't young. We weren't right out of college. I mean, we were getting right at 30 years old before we met, and had some friends set us up, and we met, hit it off, had great conversation. We're both baseball people. We spent our first phone conversation talking about the Yankees and Andy Pettitte. That's good for me when my wife wants to talk about Yankee pitchers. So I did that. So that's how we met.
Okay. And I could tell it's still going on right now.
Well, yeah, we still we still like baseball, but yeah, we're doing great. We're glad that we're here in Central Texas. Like I said, our youngest daughter is in the area. Our oldest daughter is a Naval Academy grad. Okay. She's a naval officer and stationed in California. She started out Naval Academy, went to Mayport, which is in Jacksonville, for her first tour, and now she's in the Monterey area.
That is awesome.
Yeah, they're good kids.
Yes. Well, they have to be because of your wife. No, I'm just playing. It's both of y'all together. Both of y'all together.
Give her all of the credit. There's no doubt about that.
Yes. But that is awesome. So I'm glad you're married and all that. You have children and you are prospering. A lot of things that you're doing. So yeah. Some people always think about prosper about money, but it's not about money. But it's about being happy and excited and being with the one that you're with and everything. So that's prosperity to me. It's always something, that you can always look forward to go home. You don't have to worry about taking the long road home. You take the short road home. Fast you could get there. So you want to see them beautiful eyes, just like it was back in the day. So yeah, and you got to keep the romance going, just like it back in the day. I recall, we still have date nights. Both of our children there are in Houston, and so we after they left, we kind of looked at each other like, man, why did we get married now? But other than that, we know. So we have date nights and we talk about, small things and how we met each other. Of course, her story is different than my story. But then I learned to start going by her story, because, I got to live with this woman, so.
That's right. That's right. We again, we're empty nesters. It's us too. So our conversation is every night talking about things that are near and dear to us. They would probably bore anyone else, but it's ours.
That is. Now, as okay, now you're the dean of
McLean College of
McLean
Business.
College of Business. Okay. So is there a difference that you can think of where you were and now where you are now, as in atmosphere, the people, the climate, and all this other good stuff?
Um, yes, in Angelo State, I was there for 7 years. It's a great place, and San Angelo is a great place. I thoroughly enjoyed the community. I like the campus. I like the students. I like my colleagues. Mary Hardin Baylor is a Christ-centered place, and there is a difference when you immediately walk on campus, and it is discussions with peers. It is what the freedom, what you can say in the classroom. I can bring up salvation. I can bring up prayer.
It's good.
Pray. I don't think there was any doubt that I was a Christian, that people knew I was a Christian in Angelo State. But it's just different. It's different when you're at a state school.
Yes, sir.
You just have to think a little bit about what you're going to say, and that's gone. That freedom is gone. The cool thing about that, Pastor, is that God takes advantage of that.
Yes.
He puts ideas in my mind. He lets me think about things. I'm a better person in terms of how I think now than I was 6 months ago. It just he's I think is happy that I'm here. He's blessed, and again, Angelo State's great. I'll never say anything bad about that university.
Right.
I am thrilled.
Well, he had you there for a reason.
Yes.
And,
correct.
the Bible says, let your light shine. So you let your light shine there. Sometimes you don't have to say anything, but just your presence, the atmosphere, you bring the atmosphere in. And, I always like to tell people when I walk in the room, I bring the sunshine in. And it's not the S-U-N, but it's S-O-N.
I love that.
So so that's what I do. And anybody can tell you, as soon as I walk in, I speak to everybody at one time, say, hello, everybody. I said, just, not running for being a politician, but I'm just saying, let people know that I'm in the room. And so I just go and sit down and have a good time. So, I mean, that's what I do. I like people know I'm not, trying to, showboat and all like that, but I brag on my God or our God. I brag on him all the time, and, sometimes people, try to put a little slur in it. And I say, but you're breathing and you're not on a respirator. You're not in a hospital. You got both of your feet. And oh yeah. And it just change the atmosphere around. I'm not the one that, try to be, no,
Right.
Just chill. So it's all good. How do you see yourself, or what do you see yourself doing in the Central Texas area, as in community wise, or maybe your vision?
Well, I maybe not the way you ask it, but I want to answer it this way. I think a dean at a university needs to be the face of that business college in the community. Our students, very talented. I want the community's first choice to come to University of Mary Hardin Baylor when they're looking for business professionals. And if they're not, what did we do wrong? And if that means that I'm not out telling the good news of what we're doing, or are there changes in our curriculum that we need to do? And the only way you're going to do that is be in the community. So again, if you want to call it being selfish, I'm one of the reasons that I want to be in the community is I want to help my students at Mary Hardin Baylor, and I want to be able to know what is needed and build those relationships. I've been very fortunate to visit a couple of places. I went to the Baylor Scott White Distribution Center, Julio Carrillo, and we're going to do our best to place some students there because he's got a fantastic facility, and students that are interested in supply chain and logistics, that's a good place to be. And the only way that's going to happen is if I'm out in the community doing that. We have found a church that we've been attending, and it's close to where we live, and I think that's important. I think for me, I'm gonna serve best when it's gonna be something close to where I live, and I can be part of that. And it is just, Pastor, we're introverts.
Yes.
So it's not something that's nice and easy for my wife and I just to go out and start talking. But it's worth the effort. We're designed to have relationships with
Hmm.
people, and when you start doing that, and you build those relationships, that's what we're designed to be doing.
Yes, I'm definitely an extrovert. I get it from my dad because one of the business administrators told me before. He said, "You got the gift of gab." I said, "No, I just like to meet people and see where they come from, and knowing that how I could be a service to them or how they could be a service of me." And my wife and my daughter, youngest one, when we used to go to Walmart, I always had church cards on me. And as soon as I hit the door, they take off because they know I'm passing out cards and
Right.
talking to people. And if there's a slot where the bread is, and I take a church card and put it right there. I said, "Well, somebody read it, and keep on going." And then they call me, "Are you ready to go? We're outside already." I just
I
started
am
laughing.
blown away because that
Yeah.
is not at all how I think, and
Yeah.
I'm impressed with people that do that. But it's a little bit of a challenge for me.
Yes.
But after I've done it, I mean, I'm glad you invited me on here. I'm enjoying thoroughly. But there's always anxiety when that's not your natural way to do things.
Yes, sir.
And then after you've done it, you realize, well, that was good. That
Yes,
was
sir.
something that's again, I think we're designed to have relationships, to converse, to learn about each other. And when you do that, it makes you better.
Yes, sir.
That's how God designed us.
Yes, sir. Now, have I been, kind of stressed out by walking into a room? Yes. I mean, especially there's a lot of chaos that's going on, and you can hear it, the tension. You could cut it with a knife, and you're like, "Oh man, I mean, okay, I got you." And then I just start praying real fast. "Lord, what do I do?" You know, and usually you get a small still voice that will walk in there. Then you start stepping. Like how he told Abraham, which was Abram first. He said, "Pack your bags up and go."
Yeah, right.
Didn't know where it was going, but so that's the first thing you do is just trust God. And when I start trusting God, then the tension it may be still there for a little while, but when I bring the SON in there, and smile and grin at them, and they look at, "What are you smiling about?" It's chaos going on in this place. And I just sit there and just calm out. The next thing you know, it calms down. And was I sweating before I got in there? Definitely. Like, man, I want to go in there. It's like a wrestling ring inside there. So it's all good.
Starting new things, joining in. 'Cause at Angelo State, I mean, people knew what I did. They, I was comfortable. Um, so starting new things is always a little bit tough.
Yes.
And when you don't know it, the feeling I feel when you don't know is that you feel behind, like you, you're catching up. That's how I think I didn't get things done today. But it's just because you're new and you're doing that. But I've had great colleagues right now on campus that are very very supportive, that are working hard to make me feel comfortable. I've asked them hard, forced to do things differently, and not saying that it's always popular, but people are willing to give things a shot, and
Yes.
I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah. And I'm very flexible. I mean, I gotta put out fires and stuff like that. Keep on moving at the
Okay.
same time.
You're like the utility. You can do a lot of things. You're like the
Yes.
Jose
Yes.
Akendo.
Now I'm not bragging on it. I'm just saying what I do, but I'm
Okay.
always praying at the same time. It's just not like I think of these things. The Lord said, if you lack wisdom, ask. And I'll be asking all the time, "Lord, I don't know what to do. I need some wisdom on this." I've never been through this, this route before, and He always bring wisdom. I say, "Okay, this and that." They say, "Wow, you smart." I'm like, "No," because if I thought about it in the flesh, it'd been total different. It was been chaotic and everything else. So I said, "Lord, like come a pastor of a church. I did not want to come pastor of a church. That wasn't my. Some people say, "Well, I'm going to be a pastor of a church." That wasn't my forte whatsoever. I was the opposite direction, and and the Lord called me. When the Lord called me, I was sweating and crying and everything else. Like, no, 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 because I know they used to take pastors out on Sunday afternoon and have a la pasta, talk bad about them stuff. Bad sermon, it's horrible sermon. Man, you hear everybody sleeping there, but these 25 years, going on 26, it's been wonderful, because the Bible tells us to trust in Him.
Yes.
And I'm trying to trust in my intelligence. I'm trying to trust in my education. I'm
Right.
trying to trust in where I came from, but it's not about that. As long as I start trusting Him, things work out just fine.
I love that. We're hitting a crazy time in education where AI is just out there.
Yes.
Very few experts. People, we're all just trying to see how it's going to help. What can we do? And it's exciting. It's a little scary because there's always the talk. Well, we won't need teachers anymore because AI is going to be our agent or our tutor. And I think we're a long ways from that.
Yes.
But one of the fundamental things I have is that, you know what? If my position gets replaced because AI, then that's not what God wanted me to do. Now, and I'm not. So I'm just not worried. I want to trust. And my job is always to serve Him.
Yes, sir.
Regardless if I'm the dean at McLean College of Business or somewhere else. So we spend a lot of time thinking about what AI can do for us, but I don't lose sleep worrying about if it's going to replace me.
Yeah, we have an IT person back there. They have a new car and it drives itself. And I'm like, I was still to have, they say 10 and 2. It's still got to be 10 and 2, but I like to drive 11 and 1. So yeah, I do not trust that. Even they say it parks itself. I'm not interested in that. I do my own. As long as I'm
That's
capable.
A lost art. Parallel parking. That's a good thing to be able to do.
Yes, sir. I used to do it in a Chevy, and it was a large Chevy, 4-door, and that's how I took my driving test. Of course, I passed, but the hardest thing was the written test. I took it twice. First one because I was hard-headed, I thought I knew everything, and I got up and saw those hectagons, and what does it mean? I don't know, something, and of course, then they told me come back in a week, and then I studied this time. Then passed. Then
that's good.
So I learned things from there. Anything else you want to tell the crowd that's out there?
No. I guess I'm so glad to be here. I want to get involved in the community. If there are things that I need to be doing as dean or as a citizen of Temple, Texas, I would love to hear what people thought. I'd like to go visit different companies. I'd like to learn more about the city.
Yes,
so we're excited to be here.
Well, it's a gentleman that's out in the audience called Dr. Avox, or we call him AAA, and he'll definitely take you underneath his arms and wings, and I mean so much. You're like, come on, Doc, stop. Just take a break. Let me breathe a little bit. But so you don't have to worry about it. And he's here listening to you, watching you, just waiting for this telecast to be over so he can nab you up. So it's all good.
So I'm looking forward to that journey.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. But thank you for joining us at New Day Fellowship Church, growing church through vision for a multicultural generation. And thank you guys for listening and watching with us. And want to introduce you all to Dr. Tiger, just in case if you want to know his address and information is University of Mary Hardin Baylor. Okay, we don't give his personal, but you can find him there. Now that it should be underneath
his
wrist.
Only Tiger in here, other than the Belton Tigers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Belton. I'm just playing. But the idea is that we want to appreciate you listen to this gentleman, and if you have any questions for him, look him up at UMHB. And if you're interested in being in the business of college and you feel like you're not worthy, just come and talk to this young man, and he could tell you his pathway, how he got where he did. It wasn't easy, but it was a path that was set for him. And I like how the Bible says that I have the thoughts or I have the plans for you.
Right.
And we have to find out what his plans are. And you found out what his plans are. Right. And you're doing just fine. And I want to say shout out to his wife because she took his man cave. Okay, so he don't have a man cave, but that's okay. He just go into a room and cut television on and work it from there. But thank you for joining us again. Appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Great day. And thank you for tuning in to a New Day Fellowship Church. We are so grateful that you joined us, and we pray that you were blessed by hearing God's living word. May his message inspire you to continue walking in faith, trusting that he is working all things together for your good. As we close out this service, feel free to leave a word of encouragement in the comments and share your testimony with others. Together, we can inspire and uplift those around us to live for God. Remember, this is your season. Hold on to his promises, stand firm in your faith, and watch as God does great things in your life. Continue to be blessed, and we look forward to seeing you again. Stay encouraged and keep shining